The last two seasons for the Montreal Canadiens organization have been a wild ride to say the least. In the 2020-21 season, the Habs would finish 4th in the All-Canadian North Division, good enough to make playoffs and go on a run all the way to the Stanley Cup Final before being taken down by the powerhouse Tampa Bay Lightning. And while everything seemed to go Montreal's way in 2021, the Canadiens couldn't catch a break during the 21-22 season and wound up finishing dead last among all NHL teams in points. Montreal was especially abysmal in the first half of the season under head coach Dominique Ducharme, whom they had an 8-30-7 record under. After Ducharme was let go, the team would hire Hall of Fame player Martin St. Louis to man the bench, and the squad was strides better under Marty, who gave some of the younger players like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki much more confidence and freedom to play their brand of hockey. Mid-season, Montreal would also hire a new general manager to replace Marc Bergevin, and former player agent Kent Hughes would be the man they would select for the job. Hughes and Jeff Gorton, the new executive VP of hockey operations, would have some work to do to get this team back on track. In the offseason, the Canadiens would be granted the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 draft thanks to the draft lottery and their poor play. And with this pick, they would surprise the hockey world, passing on center Shane Wright and choosing big winger Juraj Slafkovsky with the top selection.
You want to hear the two trades? They involve the Canadiens.
They would also stay very busy during the draft, making a series of trades that would suggest maybe they had a bit of a plan going in. First, they would trade young defenseman Alexander Romanov to the New York Islanders in exchange for the 13th overall pick in round 1, and they would then use this pick along with their 66th selection to acquire Kirby Dach from the Chicago Blackhawks. Dach, just a 21-year-old center who was the 3rd overall pick in the 2019 NHL entry draft, the same draft where Montreal picked Cole Caulfield 15th overall. And while Dach hasn't excelled offensively at the NHL level just yet, he certainly still has loads of potential, and a big reason why he took a step back last year was because he was coming off of a bad injury and was frankly on a very bad Blackhawks team as well. I think Dach could still become a very special player in the NHL and still has time to grow and get better. The Habs would also make some strong picks later on in the draft, selecting Slafkovsky's childhood friend and fellow Slovak native Filip Mesar with their 26th overall pick. They'd also snag center from the Mississauga Steelheads Owen Beck with the 33rd overall pick, and later on in the second round with their 62nd pick, they would snag defenseman Lane Hudson, who could end up becoming one of the biggest steals from this draft and is a player I could probably make an entire video on. They also have some very exciting young pieces like 2020 first rounder 16th overall Caden Gooley, who may be the reason they felt they didn't need Romanov. They also have defensive prospects Jordan Harris, who will look for a roster spot this year, and Justin Barron, who will also battle for a spot in the lineup after coming over in the Arturi Lehkonen trade with Colorado. Nick Suzuki is also still just 22 years old, about to be 23, and has been steadily making progress since his first season in the league. Cole Caulfield is also just 21 years old and was on fire through the final stretch of the season, especially once head coach Marty St. Louis came aboard. The goaltending situation is still a bit interesting for the Canadiens, with Carey Price still making $10.5 million per year until the 2025-26 season. And Jake Allen hasn't been great over the past 2 seasons with Montreal either. Caden Primo is probably the best goalie prospect in the organization at this point, but I'm not sure, and I don't think Habs fans are either, on him being their goalie of the future. With Price still on the squad, and with a few years left in all likelihood of solid net minding, they have some time to find another goalie to replace him. Although I don't think the Canadiens will make the playoffs this upcoming season, that doesn't mean that they won't be in a very good place within the next year or two. And they might want to struggle again for another season with a deep 2023 draft coming up, and with names like Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, and Matvei Mishkov, among others, pegged to go at the top. There are many teams to watch in the Atlantic Division for this upcoming season, and the Montreal Canadiens are surely one that I will have my eye on. Make sure to let me know what you think of the team's latest moves, about passing on Shane Wright, and how you think they will do this season. Please hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.